Hey, welcome back, y'all. Jason Michelle here, Ekko Nesters, and as you can see, we have the most beautiful view, terrain. We're in wine country here, undisclosed location, just temporarily. We have a whole video to share with y'all on this later, but I felt like there was no more perfect setting than to address some of the concerns and issues that I've had with our Carefree Awning. Now, I want to stipulate, there's nothing wrong with a Carefree Awning. I love the product. I think it's a good product. There's good quality and there's good people to stand behind it. Arguably, somebody's going to contest that, and that's just fine. What we're talking about today, there's going to be 3 segments to this video. I should back up a little bit. There's going to be, how do we change the pitch on our awning? How do we eliminate what you see here? If I put a level on here, and if Michelle steps back, you can already see it's sloped to the right. This has begun to happen over time. And actually, it came kind of pretty much out of the factory this way. And I don't fault the factory or anybody who installed it. Who knows what was going on during their time? We bought this a little bit pre-COVID. There could have been a lot of things happening. So I'm not upset about that. It provided an opportunity for me to learn more about my Ekko, my product, my awning. So today, we're going to talk about pitch adjustments. In our next video, we're going to talk about Bluetooth connections, and we're going to talk about some other little idiosyncrasies that you can learn about your awning along the way. So without, as I say, further ado, let's get on to the awning. You may notice that I have a ladder here and already have the awning fully extended. You may also notice that I've got some tools here. I love my tool bag. We'll talk more about what's in there. And I got my little ratchet open-end wrench set here. No particular brand. This was $14 at Walmart, and it's going to serve the purpose for most things on here. If I was going to be a mechanic all day long on this, I'd probably pick up a different set of tools, maybe. So inside here, and I got to remember which pouch, I keep lots of goodies, and that's my electrical tester. Sorry, I should have been a little more prepared. Bingo, there we go. And actually, I'm looking for my metric set. So there we go. The reason that I'm drawing this out is, to begin with, I'm going to need a 4mm Allen wrench. This just happens to be a Harbor Freight set for about $7. You get torque, standard, and metric. I'm not sponsored by Harbor Freight. I'm just sharing with you all that certain things shouldn't cost you a lot of money. We're also going to need a 17mm open-end wrench. The reason that I'm going to suggest this particular set for about $14 is it's got a ratchet side. So let's go ahead and go with the tools we need. Again, 4mm Allen, any shape, size, single or multi-set, and a simple 17mm. It could be open-end, non-ratchet set, but whatever's easy for you to obtain. And if you're on your own, a step ladder. If you're not on your own, and we're going to demonstrate this in just a moment, you can use a friend, a partner, a loved one, a neighbor, anybody you can drag anywhere to help you with this, because it's going to be pretty simple. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by drawing the awning in. The first thing I want you to notice is what's happening here. Do you guys see that the door is now interfering with my awning? If I continue to let this come in, we're going to make contact right here. So Michelle and I have been doing this the whole time, lifting it up, pushing it in, and I'm going to stop the noise. And some of the times, to be quite frank with you, we've had a few discussions. We like to call them discussions, so we don't get kicked off YouTube. That's a damn argument. So I'm like, Shell, this. I'm like this, you know, and the list goes on. So I'm going to draw it in, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to let it self-close, okay? And we're just about there. Now, earlier today, I made some adjustments so it would lock in. In our second video, though, I'm going to explain how we made those adjustments and what it means when it doesn't lock in. But again, for the purpose of this, you see what just happened? Still running. How many of you have to do this? Why is that happening? We're going to, give it a little tug. Okay, we're going to talk more about that as well. But let's start with the basics right here. So, as suggested, and I was stepping on them, you got your 17mm and your 4mm. And I'm not sure if y'all can see, or you know what we might have Michelle do if necessary, is come up on the step ladder, because I think it's critical that you guys see what's going on. Yeah. So let's say that you're out here on your own, you don't have a helper, for whatever reason it is. And we're looking at the two Allen screws. Right here is our lock screw and our adjustment screw. And you also see our 17mm bolt. I'm just going to throw that on there so you guys can kind of see. You see, like, kind of cranking that around. We're going to talk more about what that does in a moment, okay? The first thing that you're going to want to do is loosen the lock screw. That is your 4mm. Now, loosing is lefty, loosey, righty, tighty. The reason I'm loosening that lock screw is because when I get to my set screw, where this, I'm going to just refer to this as the pitch screw, what's going to adjust our pitch, I need to be able to move that screw. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have Michelle step back a moment. And I know we're walking through a lot of steps here. No pun intended. But I really want you to see why you want this close to you. So I'm going to extend this all the way out. And I appreciate you guys, y'all sticking with me here. So a moment ago, you saw how easy it was for me to adjust those screws. There was no weight bearing on that bracket there. Where a set screw is, let's call it our lock screw and our adjustment screw, okay? So I'm now going to take the same screw, the adjustment screw. So our lock screw has already been loosened. It's a no-brainer. Already loosened. I've got it out a lot. You see how easy that is? I could just turn it like butter. Now, without Michelle pushing up on the awning, don't touch that, yes. I mean, it doesn't matter what I do for a living, but I'm used to turning wrenches and using tools. I'm going to tell you right now, the torque that I'm putting on there to turn that is pretty insane. If not, it's going to twist and break my wrench, or I'm going to strip that screw. Why? We have too much weight extended. You see this? A lot of weight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop back in. Michelle's going to step back off the ladder. And I'm going to come to what I'm going to call, I'll step back out here because I know it's noisy, the sweet spot, okay? Meaning where I can comfortably, whether I'm on a step ladder or on the steps, make this happen. Okay, so I'm about arm's reach. This is where I feel comfortable. Okay, I'm going to stop her right there. This is where I feel comfortable. Now, Michelle's going to step back on the ladder. Again, this is just for video purposes. We've got our lock screw already loosened. We know that. Now, look how easy that is to turn. Just turns like butter, right? So I'm going to have Michelle step back out, and I'm going to give you a reference point. I know we're doing a lot of moving back and forth, but for me, I'm just a person who needs to learn this way. What's happening here? We have a problem, Houston, right? Okay. Now, Michelle's going to step back, and she's going to watch this lift. I'm 5'9". I got T-Rex arms. This is my reach point, okay? Well, you know, talk to my friends. No. So as I take the 4mm and I set it in, okay, I'm going, you see that? I'm going clockwise. Show them what's happening. This is now dropping, okay? Show them this. Y'all remember, now we got major interference. Now Michelle's going to stay right there with the camera. And right here, I'm going counterclockwise. Watch what happens. I'm going to give you a reference point. We are adjusting the pitch. Look at this. We're almost clear. No more interference, okay? Now, before we all get excited, because I'm excited, trust me, come back here. What else do we see wrong with this picture? Show them, Shell. Okay. What's now happening? Oh, Lord, now it's too high on the right. That's right, but it clears the door. It does, but it looks crazy. So what we're going to have to do is, as we see that, we're going to have to make the adjustment to the left. That's where we're going to take the step ladder. But here's the thing. Some of us, depending on what we need for wind tolerance, we may want the pitch down here so we're not picking up as much. If it's way up here, hopefully, we're going to talk about wind sensors in our next video and how they work, could do an uplift. So right now I feel pretty comfortable with that, okay? You're saving the awning. I am saving the awning because we already have almost damage that's almost occurred. So come back up here. So I'm pretty happy with that. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to tighten the set. I'm going to call it the lock screw. I keep calling it the set screw. Nice and tight. What I'm also going to do with my 17 millimeter, I'm going to make sure that this is nice and snug, okay? And the reason I'm going to make sure that's nice and snug is I probably should have Michelle step over here. Let's do that. I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself. But you know what? Come on over here, Shell. Let's show them what we're talking about. So if you notice, go ahead and step on that ladder, Shell, for our friends. What I want is I want this arm touching as much as possible to my canopy, okay? This arm is pretty close to touching. If you'll notice, the secondary arm, there's a gap, okay? Again, because we've not made any adjustments, if you will, on the tail end, the back side, or the left side, okay? Now, I'm going to go ahead and lock this one in. Remember, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. And as I do this, what will happen is this arm, if you will, this, we'll almost call it
triangle.
Yep, is going to pull up tight. Right. Now what we're going to do, we're going to go to the back side. Okay, so let's do it together. I mean, as long as y'all are with me, I'm super grateful. So typically, you wouldn't have this window open. So again, what we do, top screw, we need to loosen. Why do we need to loosen? Because it's our lock screw. We loosen it with our 4 millimeter, and you see how easy that loosens, just like butter. Why? We don't have the weight on it, okay? Well, I hit the wind sensor. So what just happened, as you can see, is my movement of that made our awning think that there was high winds, which is a great thing. It did its job.
Yeah, we just need to go up a little bit more on the left.
Perfect. So what you're going to do, you're going to stay right there. Okay. And you're going to tell me, because I have a helper. Now, I could put a level on here.
Oh, I'm your level, babe.
But she's my level. Okay. Now, again, I'm going clockwise. What's happening as I go clockwise? Is it raising or lowering?
I feel like lefty-loosey, so...
Did this side go up? Okay, perfect. I'm on the rear side. It might be a little too high. So that's why we have a helper. Okay, tell me when it looks good to you. Okay, probably about there, right?
Yeah, that's really good.
I'll tell you why I know that. When I had a sight line, as I'm looking straight across here, y'all might recall that my critical point was to make sure these didn't interfere, right? Now they interfere. No, so what do? We loosen our lock screw. Okay, just again, that is the top one, 4 millimeter. Okay, now you'll step back, you'll be my eyes. Even though, if you guys remember, I can always do this.
Really good.
Okay. Okay, how does it look for level? Is it pitching this way or this way?
Visually, it looks perfect.
It looks pretty good. Now, the thing to consider, Michelle and I are in this beautiful winery, Harvest Host Orchard, okay? And also the thing that we want to tell people is, we're going to sound really anal retentive right here, we're 1 degree out of level.
Like
1 degree. I shouldn't say we, her. So we feel pretty good about this, okay? So what I'm going to do is lock this back in again, 4 millimeter Allen.
Honestly, you might have to be a little bit more higher on this side.
Okay.
Because of the door.
Sounds good. Tell me when that happens for you. You ready?
Happens for me when we
boom. Look at that. Okay, I'm going to call that good. I'm going to lock this back in. Righty-tighty. Okay, remember, I am going righty-tighty, this direction, if you will, towards the front of the vehicle, turning that. Okay, now we're going to go back here. And remember, we started to make an adjustment back here with our 4 millimeter. So I'm going to lock it in. That's the top Allen bolt. Again, I'm going clockwise, if you will, righty-tighty, clockwise. We've all learned about a clock. And I'm going to leave the bottom screw the same. Now, let's test it out and see what happens. Okay, let's bring her in. Oh, we can do this all day long. Bingo. But we're not done. I'm going to tell y'all what I just noticed. No, we're not worried about that. So this and this is really relative to where we are level. Right now, we're not level. But what Michelle's going to do, she's going to stand on this step. Remember we told you, I'm going to call them wishbone arms right here. I want Michelle to focus on this wishbone arm right here.
I feel like this side needs to go up a little more.
Why she's standing on that step. Okay.
Just visually, that side's a little lower still.
So what Michelle's going to do is draw the awning in. But when she draws it in, what I want her to do is just come into about this point, and your focus is going to be on this arm. And tell me what you all see. Ready? Go. And remember to stop it when it gets about here. Okay? We're almost there. Come all the way to here. When I say all the way to here, just use your LED lights as a reference. Okay? We're almost there. A little bit more. Yep. And stop. Okay, stay right there, Shell, because you got a great camera angle. Okay. Remember, beginning I said I want these to be friends, right? Really pretty much friends.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. This one's got a problem. Yeah. Now,
they're not friends
keep
yet.
your focus here. Michelle, draw the awning in and tell me what this does when we get here. Okay. Ready? Go ahead. All right. And, nope, that's all right. Watch this arm, everybody. Watch what happens here. This one sucks right in. I'm going to move my finger. You see it touch? Yeah. Okay, stick it back out. Again, I'm going to just call it about 2 feet, 24 plus inches. Again, and stop. So again, keeping your focus there. 17 millimeter. Back to our bolt. And what's happening to that arm right now? It's raising, isn't it? It's becoming in contact with the awning. No, you know why I did it? Yeah, not the wind. I'm the wind, right? Closed up nice and tight. Okay. So now we clear the door. We don't rip our awning. We've adjusted our pitch. We played with what I'm going to call the wishbone arms. 2 simple tools. I got a set of 3 of these, Torx, standard, and metric, if you will. $6.99, Harbor Freight. Very simple. Keep it in your tool bag. Right here, $13.99, Walmart. I'm not doing torque specs on the engine. I'm not being a mechanic per se. I'm doing simple operations. So again, I respect good tools. I'm in construction. I have a background in mechanics. For this case, I keep some pretty basic stuff on here because you know where I want to spend my money? Is having a great time, adventures. Unfortunately, having to put a little fuel in here at today's gas prices. But I want those adventures. I don't need to carry an engine rebuild kit with bad bedding. We're going to talk more about tools. Our next video is going to be about the Bluetooth connection. We're also going to talk about some very important parts that are inside there, the little slide clips and where they need to be. So again, thanks for joining us. If you don't mind subscribing, if this is your first video, we would really appreciate it. It helps us with YouTube. If you don't want to subscribe and you just want to watch our videos, we're equally grateful. We love sharing content. If you want to check out our Instagram, whatever, we have EkkoNesters.com where we've got some Ekko gear, if you will, and some new products coming in, which actually we have 3 new products that are going to be mind-blowing for y'all. And of course, we have our cutting board, so I'm going to cut the sales pitch. Anyways, thank you all for joining us. Jason, Michelle here, Ekko Nesters. We are in beautiful Oregon, and just wait for the video when Michelle drops where we're at in the Harvest House. You're going to want to come here. And at that point, once you get here and you spread the word, somebody's going to need reservations big time. All right, y'all. Peace.